For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jared Roser here with, I'm going to kind of jokingly call it the Elijah Hamilton Christmas in July special. It's actually Holy Cross wide receiver Jalen Johnson, who when Elijah committed to McNeese a few weeks back, was one of the first guys that he said he wanted coming with him, and then was the next guy to commit to that Cowboys 2021 class. So we're going to talk a lot about that, a lot about a variety of things. But Jalen, overall, how you been doing, man? How are you and the family? It's been such a weird year thus far. What's been up?
Yeah, it's been weird, but me and my family's been great. I'm still trying to stay active and work out as much as I can.
Yeah, I want to talk to you, I guess, about some of those things you've been able to do to stay active even before the team was able to get back, the school team was able to get back together, just kind of what some of that works looked like, what some of the things you've been focused on this offseason have been. But we'll start with the commitment. Last week, you announced the commitment to McNeese State. Just kind of take me through that, what some of that relationship was like, and what made that feel like the place that you felt good about continuing your career after Holy Cross.
Yeah, McNeese was the first to offer me, and I feel like we had a great relationship with me, Coach Goche, Coach Frank, Coach Darren, and Coach Letson. All those guys, they were on me, sending me mass texts days at a time, giving me the blueprint how I could work in my college career, and also players on that team like Frank Wilson on that team, and Kyron Sutton. Also, I saw how they could use them, and they could use me in that way as well.
What did you think when you heard Elijah? Because Elijah, I guess, was about 2 weeks before you, 2 or 3 weeks before he committed, and he mentioned you and Tyler Morton right away. How much had you guys talked about that before that? And either way, what was your reaction to hear him kind of make you a focal point of someone that he really wanted to come with him to Lake Charles?
Yeah, me and Elijah had a relationship before the McNeese offer, and once we both got it, we talked about it, how we could build something great over there. And he pulled the trigger, I pulled the trigger. Now we still trying to get more Louisiana people to follow.
And I mean, you both now, as well as Millie Walker over at Landry Walker, and really everyone that's committed to this class have talked a lot about, I guess, kind of the excitement of going to play for Frank Wilson, a guy that everyone around, certainly the New Orleans area and the state, knows very well, and kind of the name brand recognition that he brings, as well as just you mentioned several coaches recruiting you, as everyone has kind of talked about that bigger kind of family vibe that they've brought. Tell me a little bit more about that from your perspective, just the Frank Wilson name and what he means to you and your family, as you talked about some of this and what it's like to go play for him, as well as just some of that early atmosphere or environment that they're really fostering around that program as they do try and build something special out west.
Coach Frank, his name hold weight a lot in the city. A lot of people know him. Most people know him throughout the state. And also, those coaches was texting my parents, texting my brother, my dad, my mom, not just making sure that I was okay with the family, but making sure they were welcome in as well. And also, the coaches like Coach Letson, Coach Goche, Coach Darren, they were on me heavy, talking about, asking me how my high school career has been going, asking me what my strengths, weaknesses are, and asking me what I wanted to work on and that they could do at McNeese.
What are some of the, as you guys talk about from a football standpoint and what they see for you out there, and you mentioned some of the other players that give you kind of examples of ways that you can be used and whatnot at the college level. What do some of those conversations look like in terms of the role that they anticipate for you? How early you can start making that impact, and just where you fit in and the type of things you can do on Saturdays?
Coach Goche, he introduced me to a player on their team named Kyron Sutton. He's like the lead receiver on their team, slot receiver. And they basically told me how they could use me, how to use him in a return game, slot offense, all that as well. And they basically saying how we share similar traits on offense and that we could use each other in the same way.
You joined the Bootleggers at the tail end of your freshman year, and even had a chance to come out to a couple of the bigger like varsity level tournaments and kind of get a feel for some of that. When you look at kind of some of those early flashes you showed with that quickness and playmaking ability to now 2 years more of work and just kind of continuing to build out your craft, what have you been most proud of in your game that you've continued to kind of expand upon sophomore year, junior year, and now preparing for the last go round at Holy Cross?
I've been most proud of my knowledge of the game, learning how to actually play the position instead of just being an athlete out there, learning defenses, learning what quarterbacks see, what defensive linemen, linebackers, and secondary read, and also how head coaches preparing game plan.
And all those roles that you mentioned that they've talked about you potentially making an impact in college is stuff that you've started to do at the high school level at as high of a level as anybody really. How has it been to see the amount of work that you put in, and you mentioned kind of your expanded knowledge and feel for the game over the past few years? What has it been like to see that um, continue to build you to a point to where you had the type of junior season you had, and then you had some offers start to fall in place this year, and that people are talking about you as one of the top playmakers in the city and one of the guys that is going to go do some big things at the college level?
Oh yeah, all my stuff built on top of my freshman year. I started a little bit as a freshman, then I kept building on sophomore, junior year, junior year. It finally broke. I did all the stuff that I know I could do, like as far as like watching film, going out on Fridays and making plays. And now this year I'm ready to do the same thing as well.
It's got to be really cool to see that kind of paying off that way too, like to see all of that work pay those dividends.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I go back and watch my old film, like freshman and sophomore, and see how much I've grown over the past couple years.
When we started this year, we'd been waiting for some more things to pop off for you from a college standpoint for a while, because you did show some of those flashes so early and you did have such a great junior year. And so I think we went into this year very eager to see what the spring and summer were going to hold for you. Take me through some of what this year has been like from a recruiting standpoint, to have everything get shut down and probably some worries about that, and then to still see some of the opportunities play out and to be able to have some of those conversations with Frank and those guys, and just kind of what it meant and what a relief it was to know that there was that opportunity there despite everything else going on in the world around us.
Yeah, with spring getting canceled, I guess. I mean, everybody that played football was nervous, not knowing what was going to happen, what the future held. But Coach Frank, Coach Darren, as I said, all those other coaches, they started talking to me, keeping a close eye on me, and seeing what I did, and analyzed my film for my whole high school career, freshman through junior. And they looked at the system that they had, and they knew I could be a big piece in that system.
For folks that are, I guess, out in Lake Charles that are trying to get a feel for each new person that commits to the program, we've talked some about it, about just kind of the work that you put into it, and some of the playmaking ability on Friday nights or eventually Saturday. But how would you kind of describe the young football player, the young man, whatever it may be, that's going to be heading to Lake Charles, in 11 months or whatever it is to get started out there, and just kind of what the Pokes fans can expect from you when you arrive?
On the field, they can expect big play potential every time I touch the ball, taking it the distance, taking the top off the defense as well. And as a young man, I have a good sense of humor. I'm a hard worker, and I do what it takes to do to be great.
And you mentioned, there have been another couple of commitments from the area since you committed, and you guys have some other Louisiana guys, some New Orleans guys in mind to come along. Do you have any that you want to share that are like high priorities? Do you want to have your kind of Christmas wish list for the 2021 class the same way Elijah had with you and Tyler?
Yes, I'm still trying to flip Tyler Morton as well to McNeese. I'm trying to get Big E from John Curtis. Trying to flip Ramon Stevens from Vaughn Neeson, and a couple other guys that have McNeese off.
Yeah, that's a good crew out the city or the area to try and get to come join y'all for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think in terms of the program potential there? They've been a team that's had some successes in spots, and obviously a new coach that comes with a lot of recognition, as we discussed, and doing a great job recently getting a lot of guys that have been big playmakers in their high school careers. What does the potential look like there? What are some of the things that you guys talk about in terms of what the future could hold? Obviously, you got to get out there before you set more specific goals probably, but how bright can things be there?
Well, Coach Frank, he knows how to win. He's been at previously universities before, and he knows how to win. He's going to bring that winning culture to Lake Charles, and he has the missing pieces that's going to come in and also know how to win along with the team that they have now.
And I told you I'd gone to visit your big brother Jared out in Lafayette in the last couple of weeks and enjoy excellent late lunch, early dinner over at
Yeah.
KOK. And so I asked him, it was right on the heels of your commitment, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
what he thought. And he expressed so much pride at seeing where you are now, and talked about the work that he'd seen you put in from being very young. And that even before we had a chance to see it on Friday nights, how much you were out there as a little dude making guys miss at pretty much every level. What has the reaction been like from just kind of the whole family to kind of celebrate some of this and enjoy this opportunity and this moment for you?
My family knew I do big things ever since I was young, playing park ball, going over to middle school, JV, that type of stuff, and getting over to varsity. Now I can see everything unfold in front of my eyes, knowing what I used to do back in the day and now what I'm doing now. And I could potentially do it in college and do it at the next level after that.
I asked Jared about kind of if you two guys in the end of your high school careers, if that you had time travel ability or whatever and could match up, what that would kind of look like. And he said your games are so different. He was more physical, more tight end type guy. And I said, and so he'd probably have trouble keeping up with you basically
Yeah, no
from
doubt.
a speed standpoint. He said, no, man, I could catch him.
Nah, that dude been out the game. He ain't rocking with me.
Yeah, as soon as he said that jokingly, he said, "No, there's no way I could catch Jalen." But I figured I'd mention it to you and let you have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to talk to you about that is far away from football, but I saw you guys talking about it on Twitter the other night. You've kind of opened some conversations at points about Louisiana rappers, and that
Mm-hmm.
conversation sparked up again. I think it was Friday night, and you were getting on some guys that are already trying to put NBA YoungBoy up there really high,
Yeah.
despite him being pretty early in his career.
All right.
Tell me about that conversation. You kind of carry despite preparing for your senior year of high school, you kind of carry
Mm-hmm.
the old head mentality into those
Yeah, they got
conversations.
to.
Tell
Yeah,
me about.
I like to be different. A lot of them coming with NBA YoungBoy. He hot right now, but I got a lot of people out Louisiana from the past years coming up now that could give him a run for his money. That could be at that top spot.
I mean, where do you kind of stand with some of it? Who are some of your favorites, whether some of those older guys or some of the other newer, more current people that maybe aren't catching as much love as YoungBoy, but you think are kind of in that current conversation?
I like a lot of old people, like the Hot Boys, No Limit, Master P, Soldier Slim, Lil Snoop, rest in peace, and a lot of people from New Orleans, like Lil Glenn, all those up and coming rappers, Nino Calvin, that's coming out, that can really blow and be mainstream. But NBA YoungBoy, I like him. He got some good music as well.
I shared my and Amos Morales conversation, just kind of dropped the link in y'all's convo where we had talked a few weeks back about having a kind of a Mount Rushmore of Louisiana rappers. If
Mm-hmm.
you had to come up with an all-time Rushmore, do you have your four that you would slot in there?
Yeah, I got my four. I have my four for sure.
What would your four be?
I'll probably have to go Lil Wayne, BG, Soldier Slim, and my last one probably Juvenile.
No P in there.
No, I can't put P. P was a good businessman, but I don't know if P was messing with them in the rap game.
Yeah, that was part of the conversation, I guess, that Amos and I had. The first thing
Mm-hmm.
when he reached out to me and asked who my four would be, because he was trying to figure his four out, I asked how much does like the business side and production go into it. And so
Yeah,
in our conversation, we incorporated like that more than just like lyricism and flow and whatnot. So that
yeah,
at that point, I think P became a no-brainer.
right.
But yeah, I think regardless of what aspect you put Wayne, you kind of start with
He
Wayne
gotta
and
he gotta be at the top. Got to.
yeah, figure everybody else out.
Yeah.
Good deal, man. Well, anything else you want to say before we kind of wind it down?
I'm ready for the season, and whoever else got McNeese office come be here for something great. We building a winning culture over there. We got the missing pieces coming in. Y'all just come in and fit in, and we're gonna be great.
You got it, man. Hitman, Tyler, Biggie, all those guys, I'm sure, are hearing from you plenty already, and they heard their names
Yes,
again
sir.
today. They're kind of on notice that they need to make that move.
Yes, sir. Also, another one, Jamarian from 35, the strong safety / outside linebacker. We trying to get him as well.
There you go. Some other guys to watch for McNeese fans that are wondering who are going to be the next Louisiana standouts to potentially join this 2021 class. You just heard a handful of them from Jalen Johnson, one of the latest
Yes,
commits
sir.
already on board.
Yes, sir.
Good deal, man. Well, hopefully we get a chance to see some more of that Friday night action here sooner than later. I appreciate you chopping it up with me for a few minutes about just kind of what's been up with you and an outlook for the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You got it, man. Always a pleasure. Again, he's Jalen Johnson getting ready for his senior year over at Holy Cross and then off to McNeese State with that great class that Frank Wilson III and company are building out in Lake Charles for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.
Yes, sir. Go Pokes.